Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and it's time to make some soap, and you see the double crock pots, so you know what we're doing today. I've gone ahead and mixed up the white already. It's starting to cook because this is an old crock pot that cooks a little slower than the newer one, so the white's already mixed up. And for the other color, the main color, I'm going to be using Nurture Soap's Orange Vibrance. But that isn't a real stable color, so I always like to put a neon and with it. So I have Crafter's Choice Atomic. I believe it's called Atomic. Yes, Atomic Orange Powder. So I always put that with it, a really, really, really vibrant neon. And I'm going to fragrance this with a favorite from Crafter's Choice. This is Fireside. What is it? Farmhouse Cider. I always want to call it Fireside, but it's Farmhouse Cider. This smells absolutely out of this world, out of the bottle and in soap, but it's like 5 seconds away from seizing. It's just not worth it to use it in cold process, so it's great for hot process. And it is so potent, I'm not even going to put it in the white, I'm just going to put it in the orange. Now, one of my favorite things about hot process is mixing the micas in the oils. So give me a minute to get this in here. And then we will mix this up because it is such a mesmerizing sight to watch oils mixed with micas. And one more. And that equals about 1.5 teaspoons per pound of oil. So here we go. Let's get you a little closer. And watch this transformation. Love the sight of this. Absolutely gorgeous. Now let's put just a little bit of our neon into that to make that a little more potent. And with the fragrance, I want this to be kind of more of a fall orange anyway, not the bright orange. So let's get some of this in. Yeah, that does it. That looks great. Now, it is time to add our lye and let this start turning into soap. With hot process, you know I don't worry about temperatures. That's very hot oils, and this is scalding hot lye. And temperature just doesn't matter. The hotter it is when you start, the less time you have to cook, because it has to heat up anyway. And I like mine really well blended, so I'm going to blend for a while. I won't bore you with that, so I'll bring you back when we're ready at the next stage. So see you in a bit. Okay, we have reached applesauce stage. This is where I got to watch it closely. And starting the white in the older crock pot first really made a difference. But see, we just got white applesauce over here, and we got orange applesauce over here. And this is where it's just starting to cook. It's separating. I see oils floating on top, which is what it's supposed to do. That's kind of like when you use a fragrance that separates in your cold process, and sometimes you got to hot process it to bring it back together. Well, that's what's happening here. Only the hot process is going to bring it all back together, and then we'll put the fragrance in at the end. So here we are at applesauce stage. It'll cook at this stage for a while, and then it'll go into mashed potatoes. I'll bring us back then. Okay, we're not quite at mashed potatoes, but we're getting there because it's still applesauce stage, but I got to watch it and stir it, and when I stir it, I see mashed potatoes starting to form. And in case you don't know, it's called applesauce stage because it looks like applesauce. When it turns to the mashed potato stage, it has an appearance and consistency of mashed potatoes, and we're not quite there yet, but we're getting away from the applesauce. We're almost at mashed potatoes. And this is a point where I'll just have to really, really watch it and keep it stirred down so it doesn't volcano and I don't have soap all over the place instead of in the mold where it needs to be. So Here we are. I'll just keep watching this like a hawk and keep stirring it, and we'll be at mashed potato stage probably in just a few minutes. Okay, literally less than a minute. It is at mashed potato stage and it's volcanoing. This is where you really got to watch it and really stir it. See, look at this one. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plugs on both of these and let this residual heat finish cooking because it's going to climb for a while we're at the mashed potato stage. And this is where you got to really, really watch your crock pot. This is why you never want to fill it more than half full. And just literally within a minute or two, we'll be at gel phase. So I'm going to shut us down, pull the plugs on these, and okay, we finished cooking really fast, which it does. It went to gel phase really fast. Now the next step that I like to do, and a lot of people do, is to add sodium lactate to this. The general rate is a teaspoon per pound of oil. I found out by mistake that a tablespoon works better. What this does is this keeps this fluid a little longer and makes it more workable because it's way too hot to fragrance now. And even though I'm not fragrancing the white, I need to let the orange cool down some, quite a good bit actually. And this keeps it nice and fluid so I can easily get it into the mold and get some swirls and design into it. So I've just added our sodium lactate. It's really shiny and glossy. That's because this is gel phase, like your cold process when it goes through gel. That's essentially what this is right now. So let me just give this a good mix and stir that in. And the same on the orange. And then this is going to have to sit a good while. So since I'm here at the church, I'm just going to go ahead and practice for tomorrow morning. So I will come back when this is ready to go into the mold. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back and it is ready to get our soap into the mold. So we're still nice and fluid and gelatinous. That's largely, I think, due to the lard in the recipe, but it's mostly due to the sodium lactate added at the end. So what I usually do is take about half of the white and put it into whatever color I'm using. Let's see if I can do this without making a horrific mess. And I don't measure, it's just roughly 1/2 to 2/3. Save that for the top. And then just gently fold the white and the orange to create some gentle swirls. And it's going to swirl more when I start to scoop it and put it into the mold. So I'm just kind of folding it and turning it in on itself to bring the orange up from the bottom and mix the white into it. So it just gently swirls without actually blending. And that's good for now. And I think that's just enough white for the top. Just start plopping it in. Okay, I'm back and it's time to cut our soap. I noticed when I was doing the top, I put more white into the main soap than I really intended to, and I didn't get enough white on top, so I'm going to have some spots that aren't quite covered, and because of that, there's more white than I really wanted in here. But looking at it, I'm thinking maybe that's going to be okay after all. So let's cut it into some logs and see, and then we'll cut the logs into bars. Either way, it's still going to look good, and it smells great. Love this fragrance. And even though I only fragranced half of it, it's really intense. Actually, that is pretty much the way it looks. You know, that just kind of pushed down into it because it was still so gelatinous fluid. So the inside actually does look, for the most part, like my regular hot press process swirl. Yeah, that just kind of sunk down into it. It was really fluid. So let's get some logs, cut into some bars, and see what we have. We start with the center one because it's just slightly larger than the others. Ooh, Granny needs a bath. She's getting dirty again. But of course it's just soap, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that looks pretty much like my regular hot process swirls. So let's cut another one and see what we have. Yeah. That one didn't mix quite as well. Got some white on the side, but for the most part, that is pretty much what I was expecting. And actually, the lopsided top just gives a little character. So I'll go ahead and finish cutting these and then get these uploaded for you. But that is what I have. And like always, thanks for watching. And y'all stay safe. Take good care of yourselves and be blessed. And I'll see you next time around. Bye, everybody.